We're back for our daily MLB Best Bets here for May 7th. We've got a full slate of action today with Major League Baseball, and we're getting things started with an early game at 9 o'clock here on the West Coast, noon over on the East Coast. But again, 5 best bets for this MLB schedule today on Wednesday, May 7th. And before we get into the video, folks, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily MLB Best Bets here on the channel. Later today, we're going to have our NBA predictions with the 2-game twos today between the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics, and the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't want to keep, patting myself on the back, but yesterday I told you so yet again. Pacers money line, we're up 2-0. The Pacers are a money glitch right now, and I've been saying that for the last couple weeks. We're printing money right now with the Indiana Pacers. So make sure to join us for our NBA predictions later today, and also on Greedo Plays MMA, 3 predictions videos this week. PFL Mania was posted 2 days ago. Later today, we're going to have our PFL Europe predictions, and on Sunday we posted our UFC 315, Muhammad versus Della Maddalena predictions from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Again, UFC pay-per-view this week, PFL twice. Make sure to join us. Links in the description down below, and go subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA as well. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are inching closer and closer to that mark. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets for today. We start things off with the Washington Nationals best bet of the day. We're going James Wood over on hits, runs, and RBI. So again, I've talked to this before about my dilemma between hits, runs, and RBI and total bases. We're actually going to have both today. I am going to have a total base best bet at the very end of the video today, but we're going to start things off with a James Wood play. I would stay away from Nats money line. Yesterday we cashed our Nationals bet. I had Nationals game 1 winner. Game 2, I told you guys I didn't feel great about, right? Brad Lord in the mound. Brad Lord was not the reason the Nationals lost that second game to Cleveland, but regardless, right? Nats win that first game. What a spot, man. Jorge Lopez picks up his 5th win of the season with his 5 ERA, but my goodness, the Nats come from behind and win after blowing a huge lead. They got huge hits late in that game from Dylan Cruz, from Jose Tena, from everyone really in that lineup. And the second game just went absolutely horribly. But anyways, right, today we're going James Wood over on 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. The pitcher today for the Cleveland Guardians at 9:05 a.m. here on the West Coast is Logan Allen. The lefty will see James Wood, and I get it, Wood has struggled some against left-handed pitching this season, but Logan Allen hasn't been good, especially in his last 2 starts. The Guardians have lost the 2 games that Allen has most recently started, dating back to April 27th against the Boston Red Sox. He goes 5 1/4 innings, 5 1/3, 9 hits and 7 runs allowed. His last start against the Toronto Blue Jays up in Ontario, he goes 5 2/3, 6 hits and 3 runs. Home runs given up in both the Toronto and Boston games. Logan Allen is very hittable, and I think James Wood, who has struggled at times this season, lefty, I think should be able to bounce back in this spot. The reason we're not going Nationals money line today is just because, again, I don't like this team against left-handed pitching as a whole, because we're probably going to play Josh Bell today. We're going to see Ahmed Rosario, who's a hooper, but still, I like James Wood in this spot for the hits, runs, and RBI, because we don't even need a double. We don't need 2 total bases. All James Wood needs to do is barely hit a baseball, tap one down, we'll take a swing bunt. James Wood needs to get on first. He can steal his way to second, and he gets knocked in with a base knock from, Nathaniel Lowe. Keibert Ruiz. That's all we really need here. We can definitely make sure, we can know that Josh Bell probably will not knock him in, but that's all we need for the Nationals, or for James Wood in this spot today to kick off the day. And I think it's a great spot as well for Wood, right? -110 on the odds. I like it. Again, a hit, a run, RBI, any of that applies to the spot. Again, much more ways we can win here rather than total bases, and I like James Wood to come through for us. Now, again, the reason I'm staying away from Nationals money line is because of the disaster that's going on in the Nationals bullpen. Basically, what I have to say about this is, Mark Lerner, are you happy? Are you happy? This is what you're putting us through. This bullpen that we have to watch every single day. There are 2 guys I can seriously say I feel confident about pitching with the Nationals bullpen right now. Kyle Finnegan and Andrew Chafin. We just got Chafin. Pumped for that. Kyle Finnegan, even though he's very shaky at times, still a very good closer in this league. All-star last season, likely all-star again this season. The rest of the bullpen, I cannot stand watching Lucas Sims pitch. Again, I'm sure he's a great guy. 12.3 ERA. His ERA is worse than Colin Poche now, who got cut. Eduardo Salazar, not playable, ERA of 10. I'm going to lay off Rutledge and Henry. I think Rutledge has done a great job. Henry's been pretty good as well at mid. And then I look at, Jose Ferrer, who's got great speed, great velo on his pitches, but my goodness, he can't control anything. And Jorge Lopez, he'll give up runs too. This is a mess. But hey, we're sending Brad Lord back to the bullpen because we have to make sure Trevor Williams has to pitch every 5 days. What are we doing? Trevor Williams with his 86-mile-an-hour fastball. I hope you're happy, Mark Lerner. I hope you're happy. Seriously, I hope you are happy with this team. Mike Soroka's back today. We'll see. And also, why is Josh Bell still batting 4th? I said like a week ago, it's ridiculous he's batting 5th. Yesterday, we don't learn. He's batting 4th. So yeah, I'm not picking Nats money line today. We're going James Wood over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. I think it's a really good spot. I think it is. We move on to our next game of the day, and we go to our first money line of the day. Let's go to Chase Field here in Glendale/Phoenix. Again, I don't know. I think it's Phoenix is where the D-backs play. Diamondbacks Mets. So again, after we get done watching Nationals Guardians, hopefully Nats victory for my own sake. But regardless, hopefully James Wood hits us there. We're going now to this Diamondbacks Mets game. I'm taking the D-backs to actually win the series. Okay, right. The Mets are slight favorites in this one, -125. Coming back at you for Arizona at +105. I do think the Diamondbacks get them here. And yes, I am skipping over Mariners A's. I can never get a Mariners game right. There's no matter what I do. And we've been pretty good here on the channel. I think yesterday we went 4-1 if I'm not mistaken on the best bets. Because Bryce Harper hit, Nerfy hit, Moneyline set. Yeah. The only one, I can't get a Mariners game. Oh no, we went 3-2. Padres lost. But regardless, I can't get a Mariners game right. No matter what I do, I cannot get a Mariners game right. Yesterday, they win 5-3. They lay an egg for us on Monday. It's just ridiculous. So we're staying away from Mariners A's. Brian Will in the mound. The Mariners should probably win, but who cares? I'm going with the D-backs here to beat the Mets. And again, this is not my hatred for the New York Mets. It's truly not. I just think the Mets are going to start to fall off a cliff. Maybe that's being harsh. But I do think the Diamondbacks are going to be better in this spot today. Okay, so game 1 of this series was on Monday. It was a 5-4 victory for the New York Mets. Pete Alonso, we talked about it going into that game. We had Alonso on the over total basis because we saw the ownage he has had on Ryan Nelson throughout both of their careers. Griffin Canning gave them a pretty good start for the Mets, which is, again, another thing that's just been so surprising this year for New York has been, Griffin Canning and, emerging into a very serviceable pitcher for them, actually better than serviceable. But regardless, right, game 1 won by the Mets, right? Pete Alonso, big hits in that game to propel them to victory. Lindor homers, Alonso homers. Second game yesterday, Zach Gallen had a really good outing for Arizona. He goes 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. Gave up a couple walks, 3 walks, but still a really good outing as Zach Gallen. Juan Soto, an 0 for day. He walked twice, so again, I'm not going to harp on Juan Soto right now, but a really good outing as Zach Gallen, and the Mets bats struggled, and I think that's something that might continue to happen. Like, yeah, their top 3 guys are really good, Vientos has cooled down mightily. Jeff McNeil is just Francisco Alvarez is hitting the ball kind of well, I'm not going to lie. Nimmo still hasn't figured it out. Starling Marte hasn't figured it out. So again, yes, Lindor, Soto, Alonso, for as much as we want to clown Juan Soto and clown the New York Mets for giving him that contract and he's not performing up to that standard yet, I fully expect Juan Soto to eventually play out that contract, at least, at the price that he's getting, at least I'd hope. But beyond those 3 guys, yeah, I don't really like the Mets lineup. I don't. I think, yeah, they played kind of a relatively weak schedule to start the year. Let's just be honest. They got to play Minnesota, who's bad, a St. Louis team that I personally don't think is very good, Miami, Houston, Toronto, Miami twice, like the Nats they split with, right? They kind of got that Phillies-esque schedule from last year. Now, again, the Phillies completely ran through that schedule, and that ultimately, gave them momentum throughout the entire year to get that number 2 seed in the National League and win the National League East as a whole. But the Mets are sitting at 9 games over 500. I might make a bold prediction here. I think there's a chance they are about 500 in a month. They get the White Sox and Rockies at the end of May. But just listen to the teams the Mets have to play coming up. Chicago, okay, Pittsburgh, but you have to see Paul Skeens once, so you're probably only winning 2 out of 3 there. New York on the road, Boston on the road, Dodgers. I mean, those are some series where you're going to have trouble. Yes, right now the Mets look good, but against those squads and you're not playing St. Louis, you're not playing Minnesota, you're not playing Miami, even Toronto, who I don't feel like they're that great. I think the Mets are going to be in eventually some trouble. Now, tonight, again, I know that has nothing to do with today. Pitching matchup is going to be Kodai Senga versus Merrill Kelly. Okay, Merrill Kelly's more than capable. All right, he is. ERA of 4 this season. He's been all right. He started the year very cold, and really that ERA is super inflated because of the Yankees start where he goes 3 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 9 runs. Since then, though, Merrill Kelly's been really good. I mean, 3 of his last 4 starts, he's only given up 1 run, gone 5 or 6 innings in those starts. I think Merrill Kelly's been decent. I'm not going to lie. I really think he has. So I'm really not concerned about him. Diamondbacks are at home. You know what this team's bats can do. Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Pavin Smith, Josh Naylor, Eugenio when he finally makes contact with the baseball, right? Alec Thomas can fly at the bottom of the lineup, Perdomo as well. I mean, this is a great hitting team, and they've always been, obviously, right? The Diamondbacks last year led the MLB in runs scored, and they didn't even make the playoffs, right? So yeah, Senga's good, but Senga might not give you the most depth. We saw in his last game against Arizona, the Diamondbacks won, and Senga only went 4 innings and gave up 5 hits and 1 run. That game, again, was at Citi Field. So, I don't know. The Mets have lost back-to-back starts in which Senga has pitched against the Nats and Snakes. So, I think the D-backs are going to get them today. Again, I've liked what we've seen recently out of Merrill Kelly. I know the Diamondbacks' bats are more than capable, and I'm taking Arizona to win the game at home at Chase Field. And we get plus money for it as well. Again, same matchup that we got last week in Queens. Arizona won it. I'm going to take them again to do it here at home in Phoenix. Arizona money line plus 105 here at home against the Metropolitans. Let's go on to our third best bet of the video. It's our nerfie of the day. We hit on our nerfie yesterday, saw a lot of runs scored, not just with the final score, but early in that game as well yesterday between the Chicago Cubs and the San Francisco Giants. Final score 14-5, 19 combined runs yesterday, but there were 0 scored in the first inning, so we cash our nerfie bet yesterday at minus 120. Looking for a third consecutive nerfie hit at these odds of minus 120 today. And our 2 teams are the San Diego Padres and the New York Mets Yankees. So we're covering both New York teams today. We had Padres money line yesterday, didn't go our way. Whoops. Still a positive day regardless, but Yankees Padres here. I'm going nerfy with the 2 pitchers being Dylan Cease and Max Fried. Now, you and I both know where the trouble is here. I don't need to tell you otherwise. And this is the case for most of our nerfy bets. I'm just going to be completely honest with you, right? There's one side of the nerfy bet that I absolutely love for most spots. And then we're just kind of hoping we can get a good inning out of another starter, obviously, on the flip side. So, you and I both know what the easier part of this nerfie is. It's obviously Max Fried, right? Max Fried, has been great with the New York Yankees this season. Arguably the best pitcher in the American League. Tarek Skubal, obviously, will have a say for that. But Max Fried's been phenomenal for the Yankees. He's been head and shoulders above the other starting pitchers in this New York Yankees rotation. Anyways, though, Max Fried so far this season, 6 starts, 6-0 record. He's been phenomenal this season. Actually, I think 7 starts, 6-0 record. He's been tremendous. 1.01 ERA his last start against the Tampa Bay Rays. 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 runs. He's been phenomenal in every single outing that he has. I'm not concerned at all about Max Fried giving up a run in the first inning. I understand what the Padres have at the top of that lineup. I really do. I know they have Nando. I know they have Arise, who's a contact machine, an on-base machine. Machado, Jackson Merrill, Xander Bogaerts. Yes, I think they're going to have trouble with Max Fried just because this isn't a Padres thing. Everybody has trouble with Max Fried. Also, by the way, the nerfie did hit yesterday in this game with the 2 starting pitchers being Michael King and Clark Schmidt. And we've seen Schmidt struggle, quite a bit this season. But he had a pretty good performance yesterday. Anyways, I'm not worried at all about Max Fried. I am a little bit worried about Dylan Cease. Cease has not been the same guy so far this year in 2025. ERA is 5.61. Last start against the Pittsburgh Pirates doesn't, go the amount of innings to, be eligible for a victory. He goes 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs. The start before that was kind of concerning as well. 4 1/3 against the Tampa Bay Rays, 6 hits, 3 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks. Cease just hasn't given the Padres any length and any depth. I don't know if it's the right word. He hasn't been deep. He hasn't been able to go deep in games. Horrible way of phrasing that. He hasn't been able to do that this season, and he's not shut down like he used to be. Obviously, the start that's going to point out, it's going to be that one in early April against the Athletics. He goes 4 innings, 9 hits, 9 runs. But again, since that start, Cease hasn't really looked dominant yet. I'll argue his only really good start so far this year was against the Cleveland Guardians in very early April. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run. He hasn't been elite since that start, and I am a little bit concerned here. But we still know Cease has good stuff. Again, it might not play out for the entire course of a game, but I think he's got good enough stuff to get us 3 outs. And hear me out, if he's just able to get Judge, I think we're fine. I think he can get Grisham. Again, just to start the game, I think he can get Ben Rice. The one I'm scared about is Judge, obviously. You know, average is down. Judge no longer batting .430. Oh man, he's only batting .412 now. He went yard yesterday. But righty, Dylan Cease, again, this is a guy who's more than capable. We know he, in the past, has had shutdown stuff. And I think, again, it's only a matter of time before Cease kind of gets it back on the right track, right? We don't expect Dylan Cease to finish 2025 with a 5.61 ERA. I will be damned if that happens, right? If he continues some of those struggles he saw in the postseason last year. I think Dylan Cease will find a way to get us 3 outs. I'm not concerned at all about Max Fried. There's a chance Max Fried, I'm serious tonight, goes 7 innings, 1 run. You know, that's just how good that guy is. I would expect the Padres lineup to be good enough to score or at least a run against Max Fried. But again, we are a little concerned about Dylan Cease. I think he can go out there and get us the outs. I'm really not concerned about Grisham and Rice. I know, again, those guys are more than capable, especially at Yankee Stadium. The one that obviously is the big scare will be the final out we need to get, and that's Aaron Judge. I think Cease can do it, and we get great odds for this play as well. -120 for the Nerfy for our for our third game of the day between the San Diego Padres and the New York Yankees. -120. Let's roll. Fourth game of the day, fourth best bet of the day. Let's go to our second money line. Braves and Reds in Atlanta, Georgia. I have one reason for this game and one reason only. It's Hunter Green. The last time the Cincinnati Reds won a baseball game, Hunter Green was on the mound. I got to witness that again with the Washington Nationals playing the Reds last week. Since that start, the Reds have lost 4 consecutive games. Back-to-back games against the Nats, 11-6 and 4-1, and then back-to-back games to kick off this series against the Atlanta Braves at Truist Park, 4-0, 2-1. Okay, so the Reds have scored a combined 2 runs in the last 27 innings. That's not good, and that's obviously always going to be a concern. Sorry, actually 28 innings. They played 10 innings yesterday against Atlanta. Anyways, it's always going to be a concern with the Cincinnati Reds. They are like what the Seattle Mariners, I guess, used to be. I will start to put a little bit of respect on the Mariners' name, okay? They still piss me off. They still annoy me, but I guess I can, I guess I'll applaud them at times. Anyways, yeah, the Reds, they don't score. I don't know. Tyler Stevenson turned into Superman during that Nats series, and then I see him since go 0 for 5 yesterday against the Braves. I don't know how that happens. That guy was hitting nothing but lasers against the Nats. He took Mackenzie Goryard, and then yesterday he goes 0 for 5. He's now batting 175 on the season. I mean, I could have sworn that dude was at least a 250 hitter the way he was playing against Washington. But I look at this Reds team, and yes, I'm a little bit concerned about their bats, obviously. But at this point, it's like, all right, you're due, right? I mean, you go 3 consecutive games where you're ice cold at the plate. You've got 28 innings, scoring 2 runs. Like, eventually, you got to turn things around. And with Grant Holmes on the mound, not a bad pitcher by any stretch of the imagination, but a pitcher that the Reds should be able to put some runs on. Grant Holmes in his last start against the Dodgers, and again, it's the Dodgers, and the start before that's against a really good team too. I'll talk about that in a second. Holmes goes 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs against Los Angeles. Start before that at Chase Field in Arizona against the D-backs, 5 2/3, 5 hits, 6 runs. I get it. Those are really good teams, but this is a guy who's struggling, at least, you look at statistically speaking, Grant Holmes has struggled in his last couple starts. He's going to be looking again for a bounce back spot here, but against a team that has been struggling at the plate. So something's got to give here. Ultimately, we really aren't that concerned with this. I think as long as the Reds, personally for me, can plate 2 runs, I think they win, because that's just how shut down Hunter Green is. Right? And the Braves bats have been much better since that very early season slump, right? That was the story of the Atlanta Braves to kick off the year, right? I mean, when they were playing the Dodgers and whatnot, they had 8 guys. It felt like more like 6, but 6 guys in their lineup batting under 130, right? obviously the Braves have turned it around. They've kind of figured out what works, and that's Alex Verdugo in the leadoff spot. Who would have thought? Austin Riley's hitting the ball well. Ozuna's hitting the ball well. Olsen and Olive's still kind of getting it back together, but right, there are more than capable players on this Atlanta team. Ronald Acuna Jr., right, when he comes back, it makes them all that more viable in the National League East. They're still not better than the Nationals, though, and you're going to see that next week. The Nationals will win 3 out of 4 games at Truist Park next week. Just you wait. Just you wait. Anyways, I look at Atlanta, right? You get Grant Nelson on the mound, but you got to face, or Grant Holmes, but you got to face Hunter Green. And Hunter Green, 2.53 ERA. That ERA it's inflated because of the Orioles start, right? That is the one outlier in Hunter Green's season right now. That Orioles start, he goes 3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs. And of course, we had the Reds that day. Of course we did. But other than that, I mean, he goes 8 2/3 of shutout innings against the San Francisco Giants, 7 shutout innings of baseball against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Got to see him against the Nationals, right? He goes 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, and it was a solo home run that the Nationals hit from Josh Bell, of all people, was the only, again, runs they were able to put on the board against Hunter Green. He struck out 12 Nationals batters in that game, you know? And the Nats, hell, I can say what you want about that team. That team just put up 10 runs yesterday in the first half of the doubleheader, right? They can swing it. They are going to find ways to put guys on base. And Hunter Green really limited all of that. And I look at this Atlanta team. Yes, again, they're much better since their early season woes. I completely understand that. But you get a pitcher that's this dominant, that can blow you away with that fastball, with the slider he's got as well. Hunter Green is so nasty. And we're hoping, right? Last time we had Hunter Green, they lost in Camden Yards. Come through for us tonight, Hunter. We broke our unlucky streak yesterday with Bryce Harper. He came through with 2 base knocks. We need Hunter Green to come through now here on the road at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. I think Green is going to be the guy that propels Cincinnati to victory. I'm thinking 7 innings of shutout baseball. We hand it to the bullpen. They get us 2 innings of 6 outs. And the Reds win the baseball game, let's say like 2-1, 2-0. Okay, I think a low-scoring game here, but ultimately I have the Reds to win. Hunter Green and Cincinnati get it done for us here on the road in Atlanta against the Braves. Minus 120 on the odds, they're the slight favorite. Final best bet of the day, we go to our best player prop of the day. And I know what you're thinking, right? Who is this? That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful to Luis Rengifo. But yes, of all the best bets we can make today and all the player props there are, again, 30 MLB teams playing today, the one player in all of baseball today we have settled on is Luis Rengifo. I will tell you why. There is serious ownage between Luis Rengifo and Jose Barrios. You look at this entire Los Angeles Angels team, and no one on this team really has any ownage on Barrios except for Luis Rengifo. You look at Yohan Moncada, I guess, has been decent against Barrios, but Tim Anderson, who doesn't play obviously every day. Jorge Soler is batting 260 again, but you compare those numbers to what Luis Rengifo has done against Jose Barrios career-wise. 5 for 7 at the plate with a double, a triple, a home run. He's batting 714 against Jose Barrios. Yeah, that's ownage. That's like what we saw the other day with Pete Alonso and Ryan Nelson, and we jumped all over that Alonso line. We are jumping all over the Luis Rengifo line tonight. The switch hitter, I think, will dominate this matchup. And we get great odds on this at over 1.5 total bases. Rengifo, plus 165. We usually never get this good of odds for our player props because they're always hovering around even. Well, today, we get plus money for Rengifo. And I understand, Rengifo, you look at what he's done on a daily basis in the MLB this season. Okay, he hasn't hit this line since April 27th. That was about 7 games ago for him. He goes 2 for 3 in a spot on the road in Minnesota against the Twins. Okay, yeah, that's kind of brutal. But, and I think he might have only hit this line twice all year. I'm serious. 4 times all year Rengifo's hit this? That's kind of brutal. I don't care, okay? He's batting 214 this season. That sucks, but I put trust in the switch hitter tonight. I really do. Yesterday, I believe he went 0 for 4, okay? Rengifo, we'll see where he's in the lineup tonight. It really just depends. I don't know. He's batting usually in the 7 or the 6, I think. That's fine. Again, when you've been that successful off of a certain pitcher, that does seem to stick with you. Because again, it's not like, oh, Rengifo's, oh, he's 3 for 4, right? He's 2 for 3. He's 5 for 7. Like at this point, Rengifo knows. I don't. Again, you would think in terms of scouting reports and whatnot, Jose Barrios knows that. Okay, Rengifo's got this guy's number. So we'll see how the Blue Jays attack Rengifo, but I think, again, there's a huge potential for an extra base knock early in this game. If not, two straight up base knocks as well. We've talked about this before, the over total bases, right? Multiple ways we can get it. We can get it with one swing. We can get it with multiple at-bats in this game. But I think, again, just the success Rengifo has had in his career against Barrios will be fine. I understand he's batting .214 this season. He's got 1 home run all year. He's got like 4 extra base knocks. I understand that. But really, for me, we can throw that all out the window. This is an Angels team that's looking to piece together any momentum because they're the Angels and they're not that good. But yesterday, they beat the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays suck too. We've been over that. I'll never forgive them for last weekend at home against the Cleveland Guardians. Damn you, Yimi Garcia. That's all I'll say. But anyways, right, Luis Rengifo has been great career-wise against Jose Barrios, and I think he pulls through tonight for us. I don't care. He's been abysmal this season. There's ownage in this matchup, and we're going to play what's happened in the past. We're going to play, the stats that we have with this one particular matchup, and honestly, looking through most of the games today, this is the one matchup I like the most in terms of what we've seen in the past. So I am going to go with Luis Rengifo, and I think the value to it's great. Plus 165, nobody's betting this, right? This is going to be a great line for us that's going to get swept under the radar. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We are putting it out here. Luis Rengifo, plus 165 tonight for over 1.5 total bases at home in Anaheim, California against Jose Barrios and the Toronto Blue Jays. So folks, thank y'all for watching our MLB Best Bets here for May 7th. If you have not yet though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with anything. The picks will be back later today for our NBA Best Bets and predictions. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.